Hi Aries, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your mid-month June 2020 tarot check. This is for all Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And keep in mind, if for some reason the reading doesn't resonate, check a different part of your chart. It's always somebody's reading, but it's not everybody's, all right? I really appreciate all of you who have been watching the readings, subscribed, liked, commented, and shared the videos. Thank you so much for doing that. And if you're new here, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. If you tap the bell, you'll be notified when new videos are posted, but they're generally every week. Okay, I just did a weekly reading. Those are less involved than the reading that I'll do for you today. All right, so let's get some guidance here. Guidance, please, for Aries. Guidance for Aries, please. All right. All right, so your current position here is the Three of Pentacles. The immediate influence is the Queen of Cups. Your destiny is the Page of Cups. In the more distant past, you have the Knight of Cups. The more recent past, you've got the King of Wands. Coming towards you, you've got the King of Swords here. You're represented by the Eight of Wands. The environment or the person around you is the Page of Swords. So we've definitely got some communication coming in. Your hopes here, your heart's desire is the Ace of Cups. The outcome is the Ten of Cups. Now at the bottom of the deck, you've got the Empress and the Four of Swords here. So we're going to keep those out. But, you know, very nice reading overall, you guys. You've got certainly water here. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You've got fire, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. You do have earth and air also represented here. You know, but with the Empress here too, keep in mind that she's the ruler. She's the ruler of love. Okay, she's surrounded by Venus and ruled certainly by earth energy too. But you've got here in the middle here, you've got the Three of Pentacles, and the immediate influence is the Queen of Cups. This is certainly about a commitment. It's about a long-term commitment. So some of you, it may be a relationship you've been in for a long time or were in something serious. But either way, it's definitely about commitment with the Three of Pentacles coming together here. And, you know, it's a card too. This can be a card of new beginnings. It's certainly about partnership and really too, though, even though it's Pentacles, this, when it has to do with work, it has to do more with the satisfaction of working together than necessarily the outcome of achieving more monetary gains. So keep that in mind too. But it's definitely all about building a foundation here, and especially too with the Queen of Cups. Very warm, loving energy. It's a time for you also, use your intuition, okay? Some of you may be, and when I look at that Four of Swords that I pulled as a clarifier, that just really solidifies it. Using your intuition, calming yourself, quieting your mind, letting yourself be intuitively guided, you know, as you go navigate this situation. Because it feels, for me, for some of you, like it's a new beginning with somebody that you've been with before. There's a desire for that to happen. You know, it's a time too to be vulnerable. Let yourself be vulnerable. You know, because you have too, like with the Queen of Cups and then the Empress too, they're sort of similar energies. The Empress tends to be a little more sexual though than the Queen of Cups. She's a little more maternal. So I do feel like there's definitely a warm energy. I do feel for somebody, I'm getting that there's somebody you've been involved with that's going through some kind of a crisis. They've got some kind of a situation going, and it really brings out your empathy. I mean, it almost feels like where they worked had some kind of like vandalism or damage or theft. But it's like it really turned their business upside down. I'm getting that very strongly. It wasn't yours, it was theirs. And that is a point that seems to bring the two of you together. So that's only for some of you, okay? But I do get that for somebody, that there's some situation with this other person where they've really been, they're vulnerable. There's a vulnerability there, and it brings in a connection again. So your destiny here, and keep in mind, destiny is affected by free will. Okay, this is not fate. Tarot is not fate either, by the way. It's not, yes, we can use it as a predictive guide, but it's, again, impacted by our free will. So you can see something coming in the tarot and change the outcome by responding differently to it. That's really the purpose of it. It's not just to tell you what's going to happen and then you sit back and have absolutely no control over your life. So with this, though, in your destiny, you've got the Page of Cups coming in. And this is definitely a good luck offer. Even though he can be a little bit immature, he's got an offer, right? He's sticking up this fish. So for some of you, you're going to have a second chance with somebody for sure. But overall, you have love coming in, because you also have the Ace of Cups here. So and that can be new love. But either way, you've got your destiny here is to be in a partnership. It is to have love, to give and receive love. That's what I get, give and receive love. And if it hasn't been there for a while, I feel some of you have been very working and more focused on money and getting some things solidified with your career. And it's time now. It really is time to start to open up to the idea of love. In the past, it's been more about fantasizing with the Knight of Cups. He does have a big cup of love to offer, but he doesn't move forward with it. He's more about kind of looking off and daydreaming, fantasizing, thinking about you. I feel like this person has you on their mind. It's that for some of you, and some of you, it's somebody that's trying to manifest love. They've been trying to find their soulmate, and they feel like, I get this phrase in my head, excuse this, but they're like, I can't find anybody to save my ass. And the thing is about that, that's why they're so focused on the absence of it. It's like, you could be right under their nose. In fact, some of you may have already crossed paths, and it just hasn't manifested because of their thinking about it. So be aware of that. I do like the energy of that, though. The person, whoever that is, they're kind of comical and funny, and they're flippant about it, even though it bothers them on a deeper level. They're kind of like a person who can laugh about anything. They don't take themselves too seriously. And I get that all the way through. I do feel like for those of you that have new love coming in, this person is very light. They're very fun, gregarious. You don't have a lot of air in here, but I do feel like it could be an Aquarius. So for what that's worth. In the more recent past, you've got the King of Wands. And again, you've been more focused on career. You've been more focused on taking action in other ways, getting your house organized. Some of you may have had some financial stuff that you were dealing with in terms of even like a loan or something that you were dealing with. But you've gotten that, it feels like gotten that under control, I guess. But either way, you've had a lot going on. It does feel like, too, you may have had some kind of new opportunity, like speaking or doing something with the public, or giving some kind of workshop or something like that, I'm getting for somebody. But either way, you were busy with that, and it was like you were very focused on your own goals. And that really is the King of Wands. The King of Wands focuses on his goals only, and people either love him or they hate him. He's very black and white. So, again, he stands in his power. He's a real leader, and he's a magnet for people. But again, he's very, very strong-minded. And I feel like you've kind of had a one-track mind with things with the career. Now, with the King of Swords, you do have communication coming in. The King of Swords is a great communicator, very clear, and it's also clarity of thought. So for some of you, if you felt like you just haven't wanted to, like I said, wanted to deal with this because you've been very single-minded on work and getting things straightened around in some other area of your life, I think you're going to start to see both sides of this. It's just more balanced, I guess. He can seem a little harsh, quite frankly, and some of you, this could be something to do with work. It feels like where it's like you're wrapping up this part of your work life, and it's just like I said, it's very kind of cut and dried. That's it. Very kind of cut and dried, and like, okay, I need to get done with this because I can't, I can't do it all, I guess. So in some ways, I guess it's unbalanced, but I do feel like with that, it's going to be able to, with this energy coming in, it's like the wrapping something up so that it doesn't continue on this way where you're kind of compartmentalized. But you're represented here by the Eight of Wands, and this is a movement card. This is also the arrows of love in the tarot. So for some of you, you're ready to shoot those arrows at somebody, and you may know who this is about. Some of you may already be going, yeah, that's me. I definitely know that there needs to be some action and communication with this situation. It's time for those of you that have had somebody from the past, it really is time to move forward with it. And because there's a, there's been a distance and a separation here, and especially if you haven't had communication with someone, this is a time now to start communicating and have that reciprocal communication. It's really going to take that. And like I said, I do feel like there's some kind of an issue with the other person that you can be very supportive in. For some of you too, if you don't resonate with that, it's time to do something like put yourself online, get into some kind of a dating app or something like that. Have fun with it. Get your friends together and help you make your profile. But you're going to have to start to put yourself out there, because if you're sitting here and you've been single for a while and say, I'm perpetually single, you've got to start putting yourself in situations where you can get new energy around you. Because this is moving forward. This is, again, eights in the tarot are all about movement, and this is a fast energy. So the person around you is that Page of Swords energy, and they're not as good of a communicator, certainly, as the King of Swords, but this also has to do with like online. So I feel like for some of you, if it's a new person, you're going to meet somebody. It could even be through like Instagram or Facebook, where it's like a friend of a friend, and you comment on something, you get a connection, and there's some messaging between the two of you. And I know sometimes people are apprehensive to start meeting people through things like Facebook, and I get it. I've had friends that have had men, it's been maybe because I have a lot of women friends, it's been men mostly, that have come forward and not always the best matches for them. They're just very forward, and they seem to be players. But I do feel in this case, this person doesn't necessarily have that energy about them. Like I said, I think they are fun, they're light, they don't take themselves too seriously. And I actually do think it'll be a lot of fun for you, for whoever this is for. So you've got this Ace of Cups as your hopes here, and it's unconditional love. It really is about believing that you deserve that it can happen for you, and that it's part of your life path is to have an unconditional loving mate. Just deciding that, coding that in yourself, coding that energy into yourself. So if you have limiting beliefs, decoding those and then coding into yourself that you deserve this. But there's definitely an offer coming in here. So you've got this, I mentioned before, so you've got this Four of Swords, and this is definitely a time to go within. But there may be some kind of a counselor here with you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a therapist. It may just be somebody that you seek counsel with, like a good friend or a trusted, even, like somebody like a relative, somebody who's sort of a mentor, I guess. But you quiet your mind a little bit, and with that, you've got new growth here, okay? The Nine of Cups is a wish fulfillment card. He's very, very proud of his achievements. It's not quite complete here, though. He is just over the moon. He's very touched by the things that are around him, the attention that he's getting. But again, it's a 9, so it's not quite complete. It's like, I feel like it's in that level, that stage of the relationship where there's a lot of flirtation or new It just feels like a new connection, even a new connection with an old person where they're funnier this time. I don't know, wear better cologne. I'm getting that for somebody. It's interesting. It's not that, it's not that 10 of Cups kind of, this is, achievement. There's like more to be done here. But either way, it's still a nice card. It's not negative at all. But with her in here, the Empress, like I said before, there's a real sexual charge here. And she's all about new growth. And I do feel like into the summer, you're going to find that this is a great summer ahead. It really is, for new growth, for opportunities, but for love. Venus surrounds you. Venus surrounds you is what I get. Venus surrounds you for the summer. So let's pull an oracle card here for attracting new love into your life. Love endures. Love does not give up or lose faith. Love is hopeful and withstands every situation. So for those of you that are dealing with somebody who's going through something right now, I do feel like that is it's a factor, but it's not nothing to stop you. And I also think for those of you that are bringing somebody back around, there's still love there. We'll close things off with Asking It Is Given from Abraham Hicks. Why does my saying no to it mean saying yes to it? Oh, I love this one. When you give attention to something you desire and say yes to it, you are including it in your vibration. But when you look at something you do not want and say no to it, you are also including that in your vibration. You cannot exclude anything that you are giving your attention to. So very true, especially if you have strong emotion attached. That's the number one key to attracting things in your life, is your consciousness is not only your thoughts, but it's also the emotions that you're bringing forward with you. So, feel it as if it's here right now. So I love you so much, Aries, and I'll be back again soon.